Hello, my name is Hermen Truong, and today we'll be discussing why Ross Stores is a potential candidate for investment by Tech Shield. Now, to begin, Ross Stores is the third leading off-price retailer, trailing right behind Kohl's and TJ Maxx. The main appeal of the store is that they have the treasure hunt experience, which targets the middle class. This treasure hunt experience allows consumers to work their way through different products until they finally agree to one that has been discounted, which in the end makes them even more satisfied with their purchase. Now, due to potential for growth, Ross Stores is seen as a safe investment for a medium to long-term hold for Tech Shield. Referring to our first handout, the first figure explains why Ross Stores, when compared to competitors, has a $12.87 billion revenue, which might be lower than Kohl's and TJ Maxx. However, when looking at the net profit of Ross's 8.93%, is significantly higher than Kohl's 3.48% and TJ Maxx's 7.01%. Now, we'll be evaluating Ross on three main criteria. The first one being growth, second one being financial statements, and the third one being strategic practices. Now, the first, growth. Growth is important to the company because it provides future potential. In the past year, Ross has grown the gross profits by 10%, and the year before that, 9%. This upward trend, combined with net income to about $1.2 billion from last year's $1 billion, shows how much promise the company has. In the second, we talk about financial statements. Financial statements provide actual hard data to why the numbers are where they are. Furthermore, it allows us to compare it to the years prior to see where the company is at currently. The cost of goods sold by Ross increased to $9.17 billion, and from the years prior of $8.57 billion. What this really means for the company is that Ross is constantly expanding and thus requires more and more goods to sell. This has a direct correlation to profit pricing, and Ross does a stellar job in constantly adjusting the prices bi-weekly to seeing what the consumer demands. Finally, we have strategic practices. Strategic practices is one of the biggest ways Ross keeps their individuality as off-price retailers. They're able to promise their slogan of 20 to 60% off discount in the off-price stores simply due to the buying strategy. Now, what the buying strategy is that it allows them to purchase goods from manufacturers later on in the buying period, taking advantage of the supply and demand of it, and then thus maintaining their low prices. Given all that, Ross still does a spectacular job in rewarding their shareholders. What Ross does is that Ross values their shareholders, and now referring to the second graph in the handout, you can see why Ross averaged about 3% in the shares repurchase rate. Ross understands the importance of investors and does a job in order to maintain them. In conclusion, it is almost inevitable to acknowledge the promise from Ross Stores, shown through past growth, financial statements, as well as buying strategies. Ross has developed their own trademark in the retail industry. Now, given all that, Ross is seen as a worthwhile, low-risk investment for Tech Shield to hold in the long term. Thank you.